And I said it. I said that too. And you know what? Fuck them. Fuck all of them.
So that bit, huh, Steve? Dunkos has haters.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes. I think it starts with your show.
That's our intro song, DJ. Hey, everybody.
We have like a cold open, which I never really considered is what it is.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it's a cold open where we kind of do like a little something, and then wherever there's a button, we cut it, and then the theme song comes in, and then we come back in.
Yeah, I love it. I've started doing that on my show, not intentionally. I just cut in the theme music later. You know.
Well, what is your show, DJ? Let's knock out the.
Let's knock it out. Only Stupid Answers is the
you
show.
guys have been going for about 25 years now.
Yeah. When I was a young man, we started the show, and now I'm old and decrepit and sad, but it's still going.
I see your clips on the Insta, and I always give it a like. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I do. Always give, you can go back and look, and just send me the ones I didn't like, and I'll give them a like.
I will.
But you and
Roxy and Sal.
Roxy. And Sal is a newcomer.
Sal's from Comic Pop. He and I do a couple shows on there where we go through, like, we did a show where we're going through all the Spider-Man movies, and then we did the X-Men movies, and now we're doing the Superman.
Going through trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Reliving a lot of our past traumas. We unpack it while we're watching the movie. We're like, tell me about your childhood, you know?
Well, you're one of my friends who really like is sticking to the movie like thing.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I miss seeing like all the movie talk and the movie chatter and the like reviews and stuff. Like I feel like it's few and far between these days.
Well, it's just crazy because it's weird that people aren't talking about movies more because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. There's nothing else happening ever. So, you know, it's like, what are you talking about? What are we spending our time on?
Do you guys dig into the state of the industry? The State of the Union. Did you guys watch the State of the Union?
Did you watch the State of the Union?
Cool. Something to look forward to.
Do you talk about the state of the industry? Like, you know, because I keep hearing all this shit about like gloom and doom in Hollywood. Like movies won't be made here anymore because LA is a poison land.
I'm sorry. I just now, you guys injected this a poison pill into my brain of what the State of the Union's going to look like, considering recent press conferences and stuff like that. That's all I'm going to say. And
it's going to be brought to us by Burger King. It's going to be sponsored by Burger King. Burger King Kids Club.
Well, we kind of had to because of the strikes, which happened 12 years ago. When did that? When
it does feel like it was 12 years ago.
Yeah, you know, and so then, you know, we kind of had to pivot a little bit, and so the tricky thing, I don't know about you guys, like, you know, theoretically, it's like, hey, we're talking about movies and stuff, and this is supposed to be fun, but like everything's everything now. Like you can't escape. Mm-hmm. You know, it always bothers me when people are like, you know, let's not get political. I didn't make it political. Everything's political now. That's not on me.
No, I hate it. I hate that there's no way around it now. Yeah. It's like we've already delved into politics on the show, and we're like, let's talk with our pal DJ who loves movies and makes comics and is constantly working hard on new projects and shit, which I will always have respect for.
Thank you. One of these days it'll pay off. Just
it will. It only takes one.
It only takes one. Yes.
DJ, I mean, now since we are on the subject of movies,
yes.
I did see a post of yours.
Yeah.
Regarding the blockbuster return of the Marvel franchise, the absolutely critically acclaimed box office smash hit, Captain America.
Yeah.
It's a Brave New World.
Yeah. Brave and new.
New.
Yeah.
And so the brave part, I think, is here's another Captain America. Very
it's so brave. It's so brave.
Here's the new part, which is Hulk red now.
Harrison Ford red Hulk now.
And world, because no one in the world is wanting to see the movie. So what was your take on it?
My take on it was, I think Anthony Mackie is really talented and he's really good in the role, but unfortunately the movie is not. good. But it's interesting because I think the post you're referring to, I think I specifically referred to it as disappointing because it's not like out and out bad like Quantumania or Thor 4. It's because you can
Four, we call it.
exactly.
Thor.
Four,
Just for
four.
Thor.
Four. Because there's parts about it that like Anthony Mackie is good. Danny Ramirez plays the new Falcon in it, and he's really good. But just the movie's not, and so it's disappointing. So like a bummer. It's like this could actually be really cool, and I don't know if it's one of those. It's another Marvel situation where they like shot a movie, and then they reshot the movie. So it's like this thing looks like
they did keep reshoots.
Yeah,
there were a lot of reshoots. Yeah,
it's one of those situations where this looks kind of cheap and bad, but it's double the price of any other movie hitting. And it's like, what are we doing? What's
is Wyatt Russell in there?
No, they're saving him for Thunderbolts.
So now I've lost the plot on all this
most,
shit. I have no idea what
people.
Thunderbolts
That's why people watch our show. But we'll explain it to you whether you want it to or not.
Now I heard that Thunderbolts, which I also didn't know nothing about, and the level I care. I mean, we don't need to go into it, but I did hear that the potential failure of this new Captain America will potentially have a very negative effect on Thunderbolts because people are just going to go, I already don't know who these people are. I've already heard this other thing's bad. And it's all going to be riding basically on Fantastic Four to rejuvenate this what I see as a pretty decrepit franchise at the moment.
Good luck. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, you're not wrong. I think Florence Pugh is great, and I want to say she's generally pretty well received. I'm hopeful for Thunderbolt. I'm rooting for any Marvel movie that has nothing to do with the multiverse. I'm so burnt out on the way they utilize that concept. So even Fantastic Four, it's like it's taking place on alternate Earth. I'm like, boo, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
I know where the stakes are already like not high enough. If you're like in another, like I heard the plot of Fantastic Four is loosely that they escaped a like no other choice kind of situation into this new plane of existence where or like a new Earth where things are all like happy 50s 60s style.
Yeah, it's just one
and
of
then
those...
they're stuck there, but they don't belong there. That's not their world.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I just don't care about it's not even that I have anything against the multiverse concept generally. I just don't like the way they've utilized it. It's just a way to get a lot of nostalgia porn in there. And so I'm rooting for something like Thunderbolts, but when you like watch the trailers, it's like, all right, we're a motley team of anti-heroes, but members is way more powerful, and now we need to team up to stop them, our member. And it's like, wait, that's the bad Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
Wait, we already and you're the one you're going to rip off as the bad one? Rip off the good one.
And is everyone has like incredibly sharp wit, and everyone's really funny and quirky, and it's a bunch of Tony Stark type mouth off boys being there, and I can't wait to see what kind of stuff they get into.
This is a good opportunity because if I'm reading the room right, you guys aren't like majorly Marvel pilled. Like you're like take it or leave it. If it's a good one, you might go check it out. Maybe.
Yeah, if it's a good one, I'll check it out. Like I don't. Nothing has excited me in the Marvel universe since the Thor Love and Thunder movie, and then I was completely burnt by it, and I think that was that.
They're like, we're bringing back the whole team from Thor Ragnarok, and then you see it and you're like, what happened to this one though?
Well, right. Excuse me.
But what are you doing? What are you eating? What is this? You're on a podcast.
Get the mouth sounds in there. Get them in there.
Grow up.
I'm sorry, but I have to eat this.
Swallow. I'm so sorry.
I'll show you what I'm eating here. Is just these blood oranges.
Whoa!
Look at that vitamin C in there, man.
I'm just having a little blood orange. Is that all right?
Well, you absolutely house that blood orange. This is a good opportunity for me to ask you guys because a lot of the circle I run in is a lot of like comic book superhero, just the idea of a new Fantastic Four is exciting to them. And I'm kind of like, I think the new James Gunn Superman movie is going to eat Fantastic Four's lunch. And I think most of the people I run with are running more off of hope that the new Fantastic Four movie is good than being sold. So if you guys have seen the Fantastic Four trailer, did it sell you on it? Are you like, oh, I'm actually interested in this movie?
It is very in line with most of the Marvel things that I see, where I'm like, I'm going to wait for what my buddy DJ says about it. And I'm going to wait for what the internet says. And if they're like, this is a great movie, maybe I'll go see it like a week or two after.
Gotcha.
That is how I do most movies.
I don't love the Fantastic Four in general, but the arc of the Fantastic Four that I loved the most in the comics was the Marvel Zombies version of them, because the Reed Richards in that world comic book series was like trying to find a way to get away from the Marvel Zombies universe. And escape it, because there's no stopping the Marvel Zombies. And what he ends up doing essentially is letting all of the zombies enter into this like multiversal device, so they could just eat every universe. Because once they're done with that universe, they're like, we're gonna starve, or but then they find Reed Richards' machine, they kill Reed Richards, and then they go like, we have access to every universe ever, and we're just gonna eat every universe. And I thought that was really cool and unique and different, and that was a fun Fantastic Four usage of Fantastic Four, I guess, because all the movies are like.
That's my thought. Is like most of the the last few Fantastic Four movies have not been well received, and so
is it because why I think it is though? I think the reason why it's not well received is because. And this is what makes me worried a little bit about Superman too. Even though James Gunn, he's got his needle drops ready and his fun jokes, and he's gonna have his big dumb. He loves putting a big dumb guy in it. Like all of his movies have some big dumb guy that's like the comic relief that's gonna slip on a banana and fart and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's got all that lined up, I'm sure. But the thing with Superman is that he's so stoic and he's not funny. Superman is meant to be this like, I am a policeman, and I don't love, and I think the Fantastic Four follows that archetype a little bit too. Like they're not really funny. Like I think the Human Torch does jokes sometimes, or Thing does jokes too, but I don't think they're not meant to be funny. They're very stoic, serious people. And then when you make these stoic, serious superhero movies, people are just like, yeah, but this is a cartoon, so don't make it. It doesn't need to be stoic, serious. And I'm worried Superman's going to be like jokey James Gunn shit when it's supposed to be kind of serious. He's supposed to be like a stoic, serious guy. I just don't know. These tones are like, so I don't know. Maybe that's why Fantastic Four didn't work, is because there wasn't a fun element to it. It was all just like serious, we're cops. Kind of shit.
You gotta find, when it comes to characters like those, you gotta find the specific. I think you've got to find the specific. You got to come at it from a specific angle. For me, that's not setting it in the 60s. That could work. To me, that's a little bit of a cop out. But
didn't WandaVision do that like 2 years ago?
Well, it's the same director. The director of WandaVision's doing the Fantastic Four movie. So
they were just like, listen, do that again. We'll do it with these guys.
I kind of actually, I would say WandaVision was probably the last Marvel property that I really liked.
Yeah.
So like maybe
I really enjoyed it.
It was good.
But I just know and again, it's hard for me because Superman's my guy, and so when I watched that Superman trailer, I felt things. You know what I mean? The
sure.
Kind of had a narrative arc to it, whereas the Fantastic Four trailer, which I'm really rooting for, I like the cast, I like the characters, I'd like to have a good Fantastic Four movie. It's just like, well, here's Marvel content module number and it's like that. I like Elliot's saying, like, I think you're at a point you really need to sell me on this. Like, you really need to make it feel like I felt watching the Fantastic Four trailer, which is like, or the Superman trailer. Where I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. Granted, I've been burned by Superman trailers 2 or 3 times now.
Sure.
So by the trailer or by the movie?
The trailer. Listen, Zack Snyder cuts a good trailer.
Yes, he does.
He cuts a good trailer.
That's a good music video, basically.
Yeah. And I want to say the Superman Returns trailer also sold me in both times.
Owen says this funny thing that I think is very true, and he says the best Fantastic Four movie is The Incredibles.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, you know, if there's a gold standard for like a well done family dynamic superhero movie, it's definitely The Incredibles.
Yeah, to
More
the
than
degree
anything.
that it's almost like, what's Brad Bird doing? Where's he at?
I
Why don't
know,
we
I
get him to make this
know.
movie?
Didn't he step in some mud, so to speak?
Did
Or was
he?
it the other guy I'm thinking
Well,
of? There's two, I can't keep
there was
them
a
all.
Pixar guy who I can't remember which
Oh
one. I don't
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
disparage
yeah.
anybody. I don't
Yeah.
think it was Brad Bird. I do know he did the live action Tomorrowland movie, which I have not seen, but I want to say was not hugely well
I
received.
thought it was no, it wasn't, but I thought it was pretty ambitious and creative, but it
Yeah.
kind of didn't work.
But I mean, I've heard people mention that before with The Incredibles, and they're right. Especially, I just rewatched the first Incredibles recently, and it's crazy how much it holds up. It's so good.
Yeah,
I need to
I mean,
rewatch
and
that.
Yeah,
it's so good, so good.
It's
But I'm
easily
more,
one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Is her butt really that big?
In real life, or
No.
let's find out. ChatGPT.
In
Hey,
the
that girl
movie,
butt
you know,
really
like how they do memes where like, dang, they put a butt on that.
Yeah, they really
character.
did. They
But
really
sometimes
did.
they, you know, they alter it. So like when you rewatched it, where you're like, yeah, that mom's got a big butt.
No, I
That's
think
the
she has
main-
she has a big butt.
That's
Okay,
the
cool.
main use of AI. It's like, listen, this is the future, all right? We used it to make the boobs on this cartoon bigger.
Yeah, so
And also they
futures now.
Yeah.
there was rumors that they were bringing the what's her name? Mrs. Fantastic or something? The one from Pixar. The one from Incredible.
Yeah, Elastigirl.
Elastigirl.
Yeah,
Mrs. Fantastic.
This is fantastic.
They said there were rumors Elastigirl was going to come to Fortnite. You heard of it.
Wow.
And we were like, whoa, that's crazy. And everyone was like, well, she's got to have the big dumper, right? She got to be thick. Otherwise, it's not going to work out for us. And guess what? She did come to Fortnite and she does have a big dumper. So we're doing the research for you here on the show, folks.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
If Fantastic Four's best iteration is The Incredibles, I would say Superman's best iteration is a little movie called The Matrix. So
Okay.
All
right.
It's funny. Have you guys seen?
I think my favorite Superman movie is Batman.
Have you guys seen Dark City?
No.
The old, like the 90s thing?
Yeah, Dark City. I've been wanting to show it to my wife for a long time. So for people that aren't familiar with Dark City, it is The Matrix about a year earlier, and to the degree that the same special effects team and some of the same sets were used.
They're like, we're just making
like
Dark
movie?
City.
Yeah,
but
so
your wife watches movies with you? I'm gonna write that down. I think my wife
yeah.
to hear that.
So let's see if this one sounds familiar. A guy wakes up in a world that he's not quite familiar with, and the first offer is he gets a phone call, and somebody's like, "You got to go on the run. These guys are looking for you." And it turns out a whole reality has been artificially created by this antagonistic force, but our main guy has special abilities the same as the bad guys to manipulate that reality. Does that sound familiar?
Was there any like lawsuits or anything?
I think it's one of those, it's just a convergent evolution type deal where both
so
trying to develop at the same time. The difference with Dark City, and it's one of those, you watch it, and I love Dark City because they pull off like a kind of a neo-noir, like the villains, instead of being robots, they're aliens, but they all look like the classic Nosferatu, like just pale-skinned dudes.
Cool.
It's got a really cool vibe, and I think the offer might actually be better than Matrix. But when you're watching it, like there's like a fight over a knife, and it's a lot of this thing, and you're like, well, this is why Matrix is the Matrix.
Is bad. Yeah.
I love this movie, but the Matrix is better.
DJ, this is why I love having you on the podcast, because I throw out a momentum killing non sequitur about,
and somehow he takes it and runs with it.
And somehow you make something make it work. It makes it very easy.
Dark City. I think it's streaming on Prime right now.
Who up in that movie? Dark City.
About it. Jennifer Connelly. The lead guy is somebody I don't recognize. I'm blanking on.
I love Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
Who'd you say?
William Hurt plays.
Oh, love William Hurt. We love him.
Yeah,
dude. So last week I was mentioning to Joe and Steve that my wife and I convinced her to watch a movie, and we got about halfway, maybe 2/3 into it, called Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
And so then we were like, it's late, we'll finish it. And then a couple days later, I was like, oh, we haven't finished Alien Romulus yet. And I watched the first 2/3 and I was like, Yeah. Then I turned on the last third and I was like, oh my goodness, this movie's fantastic. I went from like super neutral on it to like, I love this. Like, this is so fun. Big fan. And it's the second I've seen 2 Alien movies. So I've seen Alien. Yeah, and then Alien Romulus.
Okay, so
that's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a wild jump.
Aliens,
but chronologically, I think it makes sense.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You are right.
I'm watching it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
You're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
So now I'm gonna go.
I don't know, but did you watch Prometheus? Yeah, you should watch Prometheus first.
No, then I'm gonna do Covenant.
Yeah, don't. You don't need to do the Prometheus. You don't need to. You can, but you don't.
You don't need to. Yeah.
I hear mixed things on Prometheus. So because people I respect are like, I love it, and then people I respect are like, don't watch that.
Yeah, it's very divisive.
I wonder if Steve agrees with me. For me, the only thing worth salvaging from Prometheus and Covenant is Michael Fassbender's
character. For sure.
I'm at a point now where the only thing I need from the Alien franchise is I want to see Ripley interact with Michael Fassbender's character, and now the new android they introduced in Romulus. I want to see those 3 in a movie together, and I think I'm good.
Okay, I'm okay. I would accept it, but it's got to be a really good reason to bring Sigourney Weaver back. Like,
I just want to see Alien, because they established, spoilers for those movies, they established Michael Fassbender essentially creates the xenomorphs.
So the version that we see. Yeah,
I want to see Elliot. I want to see the Alien franchise's mom, Sigourney Weaver, interact with the Alien franchise's dad, Michael Fassbender. I want to see them. I want to see them butt heads.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a world where, because Romulus is before Aliens, right?
Yeah.
But just right after Alien.
I actually think the correct order now, Elliot, is AVP and
yes.
You can fully skip those if we're talking about skipping them. There is a world where we could where hypothetically we could get Fassbender. And I'm being told in my earpiece we can get Fassbender, and we could get Fassbender, we can get Sigourney Weaver and the Romulus gang, whoever survived that, in one movie potentially. Yeah. But if the technology that they used in Romulus is an indication of how they handle someone who's either dead or way too old to look the age that they're meant to be, then maybe we shouldn't see that.
That's my one big issue with Romulus is that's another thing. I think Ian Holmes' character should have been Michael Fassbender's character. Like, I don't know. I
hear you. And I've heard that argument. I've heard people talk about that, and like maybe it would have worked and been fine. I think the association, like the amount of Prometheus injected into Romulus is like just the right amount before it's like, really? Are we're bringing Prometheus and Covenant back for some reason?
At least not Ian Holm. Like, that was just.
But I love the reason why. You heard the reason why?
No.
That Fede Alvarez was like, we just never saw, like, we had Lance Henriksen, who played Bishop. Elliot, you've yet to meet Alien. You've yet to meet they call you Elliot. Alien. You've met. Yeah. 2 L's in that one, right? You've yet to meet Lance Henriksen's Bishop character because you haven't watched Aliens yet. But I've heard Fede Alvarez say that Lance Henriksen showed up a couple of times. And it always bummed him out that they never brought the Ian Holm version of the droid back ever again. And apparently, according to Ian Holm's family, he was like kind of bummed out he was never asked to be back in an Alien movie as a different robot like they did with Bishop with Lance Henriksen. Yeah. And then and with Michael Fassbender, it's like, well, are we allowed to dabble in that? Are we allowed to bring those characters back? Is that how ingrained into this new series we want Romulus and Covenant and Prometheus to be? Yeah. And so he was like, fuck it. We never saw another Ian Holm robot. It makes total sense we'd see at least one more.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of him being back in the sense that we just never never, we can still use Fassbender. We've already used Henriksen, and we just never see another Ian Holm robot again. Kind of bums me out a little bit. So it was cool that they brought that into Romulus, even though it didn't look great.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy it. It's not even that it didn't look great. I just don't love resurrecting the dead. And
yeah, I know that's always creepy and weird, but the fucking estate signed off on it because, you know, money's nice, but also it sounded like he wanted to be back in. So, you know, maybe he would have said yes anyway.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? We'll never know. Well, are you guys excited about Alien Earth?
Because that's from, I'm blanking on the name. It's from the same guy that did Fargo and Jin. Why am I blanking on his name? Doesn't matter.
Sam Kuberton. I don't know.
Thank you. Sam Kuberton.
Krim Tripson.
No, here's the deal. I liked the first couple seasons of Fargo, and I liked the first couple seasons of Legion. So I have no reason to believe I might like the first couple seasons of Alien Earth. And then wait, what are we doing? What's happening?
Wait, you don't like the later seasons of Fargo?
I haven't watched them.
They're all well. I'm not a huge fan of the Chris Rock season, but the one with John Hamm, the most recent one, is definitely.
I've heard that. I should check it out. Check it out. And then my issue with Legion, I watched all 3 seasons of Legion, but they introduce an idea at the end of season 2.
Legion's quality goes down.
It really derails the show. They make a choice with the main character David.
But Legion's dude, such a strong start to that show. Legion's so good at first, and then you're like. Sorry to bring this back, but Elliot was saying WandaVision was like the last Marvel thing he liked. I liked Moon Knight.
Ooh, I did like Moon Knight.
Not for me.
I liked it. I was Moon Knight's... fuck it. Let's go full psychological mental illness in the Marvel world. Why not? We've already done all the other fucking things.
For me, that was let's take one of DJ's favorite Marvel characters and just get rid of all the things he likes about it. Get rid of all of it.
Yeah, but would DJ's version of that show had pleased DJ and not as many other people, you think?
It's possible. It would have probably been a little bit more like the first couple seasons of Legion.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Batman still sells tickets. I don't,
Batman will always sell tickets, and Superman will sell tickets too, but people will be like, I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah, what about you, Steve? Alien Earth.
Oh, so Alien Earth. So I haven't watched nothing. I don't want to see no trailers. I want to see nothing. I saw a billboard. I've heard it's coming. I follow. I'm a lurker on r/LV426, which is the official Alien subreddit.
Can I real quick do it?
Yeah, please get in there.
That reminded me of something that I realized. I am not a lurker. I am officially a 1% top commenter on r/alien bodies, which I have talked to you about. And
is this something that is findable, or you would rather stay anonymous?
So you could not find me. I don't think.
So r/alien bodies. What are you talking about over there?
Well, because we're trying to figure out when they're gonna come and if we'll be able to bang them.
This is all part of my conspiracy that this whole thing is obviously a conspiracy, but there's this a subreddit called r/alien bodies that is it's the same 6 people posting, convinced that these mummies from Peru, these Nazca mummies, are actual alien bodies.
Yes.
And I will get on there. I didn't realize how much I was doing it, that I'm now a top 1%er in there. But I argue with people about things like logical fallacies and the way the scientific method works and how peer review works and how you can't just say this is looked at by multiple people and how, showing a scan of a mummy doesn't necessarily prove that these are legitimate bodies.
I love it.
And it's gotten too much. Anyway, back to you.
Do you have do you get DMs and stuff?
I don't get DMs, but I've gotten some down votes because they do not like when I point out.
They don't. I've had conversations with people.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, all this alien stuff. I mean, that's bullshit, clearly. And people that I'm friends with that I know get super mad, and you're like, oh, okay, I thought we were all kind of all on the same page. That you can't point at a grainy dot on a video from somebody's cell phone and be like, that's moving faster than the speed of light. Like, you can't. That's not how.
Right.
We know how cameras work, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't quite.
I have to interject. I have to interject. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so.
And it is a little tangential, but slightly connected to what we're talking about with Reddit and commenting and upsetting people on Reddit. But I was on the so I follow the Disneyland subreddit, and whatever. I'm Disney adult adjacent, but
Yeah.
I'm not the annoying kind.
Uh-huh.
But I say that as myself, and
Yeah.
whatever. Anyone else might have some other.
Is that how you sign off every comment on our side?
Yeah.
I'm Disney adult leaning, but I'm not an annoying one.
Curious, yeah.
But anyway, so I posted this thing because, and I really obsess over these things because, it's so bizarre and weird, and it happens like every once in a while, but no one wants to keep talking about it. Do you guys remember when there was this news thing that kind of like circulated a bit about Disneyland, where this guy who was clearly drugged out got naked and jumped around Small World and was like running around and shit?
Yeah.
And then they did something which I'd never seen in anything. And I've been a Disney fan for a very long time. Disneyland, the parks fan. They literally like carried this guy out in like Disney blankets. It was like 6 big guys like carrying this blanket with that guy laying inside of it. And they're just rushing him out of the park. Like you can see his naked legs and his and he's like, ugh. And so they finally got him out of the park, but it was this like crazy shit. And then zip. It was just like this happened, and then zip, nothing, no news, no follow-up, no information. Right. What was that? Doesn't matter. So
it was alien bodies. It was an alien.
Yeah. Maybe it is across. Maybe it is connected. So anyway, like a couple of months after it all disappeared, I posted in the Disneyland subreddit, what happened to that guy? And do you think that it disappeared in such a way because Disney like threw some money at it, maybe put a crisis management team to go reach out to places to be like, we're not doing an update on this, we're making this disappear, we're never talking about this again? And I wrote out this whole thing that was just like, and what about the people that witnessed it? Do you think they got free Disney for life? Do you think they joined in a class action lawsuit? Like, how could you let someone be naked in front of my kids? Like, I'm just like throwing out all these hypotheticals, and it was just endless anger directed at me. Why do you want to know this? What's wrong with you? You're fucking weird. What do you mean conspiracy? No one wants to know what happened. This guy went to jail and that's it. Who gives a shit? And it was just this endless like, fuck you, you weird fuck. Why do you want to know what happened to this fucking guy? Get the fuck out of here. It was like, it made me feel like I was a kid being bullied again, because it was like, I just want to have this like kind of jovial, fun, silly conversation about what happened. And these Disney adults fucking dogpiled on me to the point where I deleted the entire post because I could not handle the amount of vitriol directed at me for even suggesting Disney did some sort of
cover
up or something.
Steve bullied by Disney adults.
Dude, that's the name of the episode for sure. Dude, I was bullied by Disney adults. It's crazy. No one wanted to talk about it. They were like, why do you want to know about some pervert at Disneyland? Are you a pervert? Were you the guy? And I was like, Jesus, why can't we just have like a fun conspiracy discussion? But no one wanted that. No one wanted that.
Is there a separate subreddit for Disney conspiracies? Because there's got
I would love it. I would love it.
Gotta be.
There's no shortage.
Yeah. Walt being buried under, what was it, Tomorrow?
Oh yeah, his head is cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
But like, what do you guys think happened to that guy, that Disney guy? Is it just as simple as
shut up, Steve? I'm not going there.
Shut the fuck up,
Steve. Why would you bring that up?
I love that it angers everybody across the board, even non-Disney people.
I'm here to promote my pervert. I'm here to promote my comic, and you're talking about a naked man at Disney Park.
I'm a father now. I can't be involved in this. Now. Speaking of DJ, what do you got going on, man?
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for having me on. You guys have had me on for a few of my previous Kickstarters, and I got a new one. If people want to go check it out, they can go to dangerboycomic.com. I've been writing comics for a while now, but this is my first time doing a superhero comic. I've been holding off because is just so ubiquitous, and it's like, what do I have to say? And over the past few years, I felt like I had a way to tackle the genre, and I wanted to try and push it forward into the 21st century, and like think about as our world changes, what does being a superhero mean? What does that look like? How can I tackle, some of the stuff going on around us, and using that medium. I'm working with an incredible artist named Sean Peacock. And the story follows Satoshi Santos in kind of like a retro futuristic cyberpunk dystopia.
Cool.
And the world's quote unquote most powerful superheroes are going to take over his city. And so he has to team up with a group of outsiders.
Whoa, it's like a takeover. It's like a superhero takeover, and then there's like a group, a ragtag group that's got to stop.
Yeah, kind of like the team up and kind of like
I love that.
Save the city from being overrun by these guys. And so it's kind of, to me, it's kind of the next step. Like I love comics, superhero deconstruction stuff like The Watchmen or The Boys. But those kind of come from kind of what I would call like a Gen X kind of nihilistic, like we're all screwed. And listen, man, I don't disagree. But
no one's gonna help us, kind of like.
Yeah.
World.
And so, but growing up past that, you're like, okay, but what's the next, what's the next thing? Okay, we're all screwed now. What now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this is kind of using that medium to kind of tackle those ideas while being like fast paced and kick ass and like something I would want to read.
I love that. How far along are you?
So, Sean has just been sending me inks. We've got inks through. This is a 44-page comic, so it's going to be double the size of your average comic book. It's going to be high quality. There's multiple covers from incredible artists like Tyrell Cannon and Tango and Vincenzo Riccardi that you can pick up. And we just finished inks for the first 22 pages. We're getting into the back 22. Depending on when this episode drops, the campaign goes live on the 18th. And so if you're listening to this on the 18th or the 19th of February, if you back within the first 48 hours, there's an exclusive print that will include with all physical orders that's going to be signed by the artist. And
oh, that's awesome. This should be up by the 19th.
Perfect. So if you're listening to this when it goes live, you've got a few hours left to get in there. Go to dangerboycomic.com, back it on Kickstarter. And I think we're at a time now where independent art is more vital than ever.
For sure.
Like part of the thing I was if I'm looking at like trying to do kind of a superhero reconstruction, you're going back to the roots of these characters. The first issues of Superman, he's throwing corrupt slumlords off of buildings. The first issue of Captain America is the iconic cover. He's punching Hitler.
We got some Luigi Mangione vibes going on in there a little bit.
The early Marvel stuff pulled a lot from counterculture. So, kind of like, but now all these brands have been bought up by these big conglomerates. And so, they, like we were just talking about with Captain America, Brave New World, stuff like that. They always really play it safe. And I kind of wanted to get back to comics kind of like irreverent, anti-authoritarian, roots. And you can really only do that through independent means like Kickstarter, stuff like that.
Right, because you've got all these investors that are, or these people in charge that are like, we can't upset the board. We can't upset these potential investors that actually have their hands in that specific cookie jar.
Yeah.
So we want to have the political landscape be shown as what it really is without any censorship or filtering.
Yeah, so like for going back to Brave New World, like the final set piece of that movie is a black man dressed as the American flag fighting the sitting U.S. president, who is a red rage monster at the White House. And everybody's like, it's not political. Don't make it political.
Yeah.
And it's like, originally the mantra of Marvel back in the day was they wanted to depict the world outside your window. And so I kind of wanted to take that mantra because the world has changed. And I think as much as I do love the genre, I like the superhero genre, it's challenging for these, corporate mascots to really tackle the world that we live in. And so I wanted to try and tell a story that engages with that stuff. And
dude, I love that, and acknowledges it and doesn't ignore it or sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and so
I love that.
What I've been trying to tell people is if you love superheroes or if you hate superheroes. Either way, if you're looking for something kind of like new or different, or kind of pushing that genre or attempting at least to push that genre in new and different directions, Danger Boy and the Antagonist is the comic for you. And you can find it at dangerboycomic.com. And something like stories like this, I think, could only exist with the support of our backers. So it's, it's a Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. So if we don't get funded, it doesn't happen.
For sure.
But if we do get funded, I've never once missed a deadline. I've always delivered when I told people I'm going to deliver. And we're hip deep in production, so it's ready to go and get out to you guys once we fund. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, folks, check out dangerboycomic.com in the link below, in the description below, excuse me. And yeah, thanks for telling us about it. Dude, I'm so excited. I hope you, I mean, obviously I hope
rad.
you do it, but for also multiple reasons. I'm assuming you are setting this as well in the 60s, that kind of techno vision.
Well, that's another thing, is we've been talking about the Fantastic Four trailer. I've been directing people to our pre-launch page, and I was like, the new Fantastic Four movies look back to the 1960s. I'm looking at the 2060s. I'm like, where are things headed? And trying to at least, yeah, just push things forward. I think so much of our culture is across the board is just so nostalgia based, and there's not, this is influenced by so many things, like I just mentioned, The Boys and Watchmen, Invincible, Batman Beyond, My Hero Academia, a bunch of different stuff. And we kind of have a retro future aesthetic, like with the cyberpunk stuff, like Blade Runner, but we're using those elements to try and create something new, something that people haven't seen before. Something that'll feel fresh and feel exciting, because that's the feeling you want. Like when we talk about kind of like being maybe burned out on those Marvel movies, it's like we want that feeling of fresh and excitement. Like, oh my God. Like,
is Robert Downey Jr. attached?
Man, if he was, I probably wouldn't need to take it to Kickstarter. It would probably be good to go. Like if the what he's getting paid, I could make a whole Danger Boy and the Antagonist movie for a rounding error of what he's getting to do today in Secret Wars.
Dude, imagine if this like super high budget, high quality superhero movie came out of nowhere based on zero IP that exists, from a studio that doesn't exist, from creators that it's their first time around. Like, that's exciting to me. That's more exciting than like, this guy who made this thing you vaguely liked is also now making this Hulk movie, and you're like, well, what is he gonna do with it, or she gonna do with it, what are they gonna do with it that's any different from what we've seen already? But I like when the, don't take this the wrong way, DJ, but I like when the little guy makes something that is ambitious and big and tells the story of what's happening right outside your window. Like, that's more interesting to me than like the person who's like, they've made a bunch of shit, they're like in a certain tax bracket, their life experience is a little different from some of the ones that people who struggle through this.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's one of the cool things about comics as a medium, is it's always kind of been an outsider artist medium. Like now it's basically become a think tank for these blockbusters. But for long, like, you again, go back to the Watchmen example, we keep going back to the well of Watchmen would never exist without the comics medium. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's something that specific story Hollywood would never be like, this is the story we're going to tell. Like, that's something you could only tell outside of the aegis of like the big studio system, and then it becomes one of the most beloved
you're right. Like, it's
stories of all time, and so then we keep trying to adapt it.
It's a symbiotic relationship between what because all we're experiencing these days is this shit. Elliot, you see a bird or something? What do you got over there?
There's
a squirrel? Is there?
I do get it. I'm trying to find a book because I want to show DJ this book that is. But none of my books are in alphabetical order. It's called Mutants and Mystics.
I see that you got your phrenology hat over there too. You know about these, Elliot or DJ? You seen these phrenology heads?
Nice.
Do you feel like you could?
That's where my selfish propensities are.
That's good to know. No, but it's like while Elliot looks for that book, like I think the cool thing about doing this within the superhero medium is that it's the American myth. You know, it's the story we
sure.
tell ourselves. And as I was thinking about this last night of how that, you know, you look at Superman, which is, you know, technically the first superhero, and that kind of comes from two poor Jewish kids living in the city that were like, wouldn't it be great if some person in power was able to come and use that power to help us for once.
Yeah.
And that's but now, you know, the flip side of that, oh, did we find it?
It's
Oh.
Mutants and Mystics by one of my favorite writers, Jeffrey Kripal. Science fiction superhero comics and the paranormal, but it goes into the history of a lot of these writers
Love
and the
it.
weird experiences they had that gave birth to the superheroes that they made.
I love that. I also recommend Super Gods by Grant Morrison, who's a
Ooh,
comic writer and but also went through it's kind of an autobiography and also a history of comics. And I think if you enjoy or a history of superheroes, excuse me, and if you enjoy the medium, it's really meaningful.
cool.
But it's like, you know, you start with Superman and this idea of I want this outsider powerful force to come help me. You know, to you look at something like Into the Spider-Verse, and there's this idea of like anybody can wear the mask, anybody can be this hero. And I think the next step of that thought process is, well, if anybody can wear the mask, then we all share the responsibility that comes with that. We can't wait for somebody to come help us because spoiler alert, they're not coming. We need to help each other. And so again, it's just trying to if this is the American myth, if this is the story we tell to ourselves about ourselves, I see room for that story and that myth to evolve.
Dude, I love that. I think
Cool.
that's so succinct and something very relatable. The idea that it would be amazing if it, you know, because we talk about aliens a lot on this show,
Yeah.
and to me, it's like, you know, not only would it be really cool if aliens existed and we got the final proof that they exist, but also that there's a potential chance that they could save us. You
Yeah.
know, get it's to help us with all this turmoil and pain and suffering. And it's like, well, we can't just wait for that. We have to
Yeah.
be the change we want to see in the world. And a lot of these superhero things, it feels like are they motivate that concept of like anyone can do this, we could do this. We have to work together and all of that. And I love it. I would love to see what your version of that is, DJ, and where it goes. And I'm super stoked, dude. I hope that this is the one. This is the one that goes to series, and you get Damon Lindelof interested, and you get all these people, this bidding war. Like, let's do it. It's time, because, you know, it's time for more of the like self-aware superhero stuff rather than the think tank shit we were just talking about. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so yeah, I think if any of that stuff interests you, if some of that storytelling interests you, please go check it out. I'm a big believer in this project. I hope it people really respond to it, because I'm seeing the inks that Sean sent me, and they're beautiful. It's
Dude, I can't wait to check it out.
Cool.
Well, but yeah, check out the description in the link for DJ's ish, and I'm so excited about this thing, dude. And send me some shit when you have a chance. I'd love to check it out.
Absolutely will. And then don't forget to go bully Steve on r/Disney adult.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna be like, but the guy that fucking he took his pants off in Disneyland. What happened to that guy?
He is in the bunker with Walt's head. That was actually what the reason they don't talk about it is that was a clone of Walt Disney that escaped containment.
Yeah.
And they had to put him back in. And they're like,
it was, and if we knew
it.
we know too much at this point. And DJ, also check out DJ on Only Stupid Answers, his entertaining comic book movie review show, TV show review.
Yeah.
All media, it seems like at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do Invincibles on that one?
You know, I haven't been keeping up with Invincible. I watched season 1. I've read the comics, but I haven't. It's tricky now because I got the newborn, and so I gotta be like very like selective. So like right now, all I'm really like the stuff I make time for is Severance, which is great. Anybody watching Severance? And then on Max, there's Common Side Effects, which is a new animated series.
I'm in love with that. Elliot.
Oh, good.
We've talked about what was the other one? What was the other what was the other show that those common side effects guys did? The science fiction one on the alien planet.
Was that a Scavenger's Reign? That's not
Scavenger's Reign.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the same team?
It's the same team, dude.
Scavenger's Reign is incredible.
One of the most incredible modern pieces of science fiction that I have seen. You've seen this, Elliot?
No, I liked the last animated thing that I watched was also the first in like 10 years was the Creature Commandos. Did you like that, DJ? Or you
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It did. I enjoyed it. It was very much a combination. I like those characters in the comics. I like anything. Dirty Dozen's one of my favorite movies. So any Dirty Dozen riff, I'm in for. It was a little weird as like the aperitif, the little like beginning of what is this new DC universe? Because like, oh, this is kind of like a little dark and upsetting for our first salvo into this world.
Yep.
I'm cool with it. Listen, there's room for all sorts of weird fucking shit, but we cannot get away from Scavenger's Reign. Elliot, it's a little heavy.
That or common side effects.
Well, Scavenger's Reign, both for sure. But Scavenger's Reign is fucking an incredibly well done piece of modern science fiction, and common side effects is exactly the kind of shit that we need right now. Something that's just like bizarrely self-aware, but also very much about shit that we deal with, and it's also so fucking funny. You got Mike Judge involved in there,
who's hilarious. So to speed run both shows for people that might not be familiar, Scavenger's Reign, a group of spacefarers crash land on this alien planet, and what makes it cool is that one of the things that makes it cool is whenever we're introduced, they really make you, it feels alien, it
feels more alien than anything I've ever seen.
And you're like, what is this thing? What is its deal? But the attention to detail where you'll see those creatures interact in their environment. So the things that they do, while weird to our human protagonists, feel evolutionarily viable.
Yeah, like there is a cool. Right. Like there's a
reason why they do it. It's just we don't know why. Like why is this?
It's like there's all this organic alien shit, but it feels like our protagonists have read a book of biology about these characters, or they're just so intelligent in the scientific way that they know that certain biological functions relate to our Earth creature and human biological functions. And so it's just like it's got this almost like planet Earth vibe in the sense, but with creatures you've never seen, like an alien planet Earth. Yeah,
because they do. You'll see one. There's a creature that mimics humans, but what you see is like in the environment, that's how it spreads. It's like it'll hit an animal, create a spore that looks like that animal so that it can infect the rest of the thing. So it's not but the craziest one is because they do another thing where not only are the humans dealing with this alien world, but the alien world's dealing with them because they're technically an invasive species. So there's this little like psychic critter that controls other animals to get its food, but a human is much more capable than any of the animals it normally controls.
And it's never come in contact with a human before.
So it grows out of control. And by the end of the series, like this thing's a nightmare. You're like, what are we going to do about this thing?
It's like one of the most frightening, like alien antagonist, like violent, like, I don't know. It's really scary.
Because it also starts picking up the humans' insecurities and stuff like that. Like it becomes really, but anyway, and then common side effects deals with this guy discovers this mushroom that can basically heal any disease, and big pharma is like, well, we have to get rid of this. Like,
fun.
Dude, Elliot,
I might have to start with that. That sounds amazing.
I was gonna say maybe just start with that because there's only like 3 or 4 episodes out, and if you absolutely love it, which I'm sure you will, then go back to Scavenger's Reign. But dude, please, will you promise me if you have time today, check out common side effects? Like just please. I'm gonna text you every hour.
I googled it, and the main character kind of looks like you.
Finally, someone I can cosplay from a comic book or like a TV show.
This is the first time I had to talk with somebody about common side effects that's seen it. Whenever they take the mushroom, whoever takes it has this experience, like supernatural like experience. And at first you're like, wow, was this like, when I was watching, I'm like, is this like a cosmic thing? Is this taking them like back to base formula and that's how they're able to heal? And then I realized a couple episodes in, it's like, this could just be a trip.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could just be like
It could
ayahuasca
just be
or some shit.
like it doesn't need to be anything more than it heals them, but they're also kind of tripping.
And,
I like that element. It's really cool.
Elliot, please watch it. And
I'll check it
DJ,
out.
thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, DJ.
I always love it. I love talking with you guys. I love seeing you guys.
Same. And congratulations on being a father.
Yeah, thank you. It's great. For those that are interested in such a thing, I do recommend it.
Wait, speaking of Elliot, how's Brock? How's your child?
Brock is doing really well. We took him to his first veterinary visit. He was very nervous, but he did very well. He's going to have to get neutered, going to have some dental x-rays done. We think he broke one of his bottom molars, and it might require a dental specialist, which will be unfortunate, but we're hoping not.
Yeah.
Besides that, he's doing really well, really coming out of his shell, and he begins training on Tuesday. Thank you for asking.
Wow, I love it. And so similar, right? Between you guys, it's like a kid, a fur baby. It's a fur baby.
It's the same thing. It's the same.
It is not the same thing, and I am very happy for you, DJ. I think that's very cool, and it's nice to hear that you're enjoying it, and like it amidst all of the chaos, and not just like only experiencing the fatigue and the bad.
It was because I remember the first few months, which were real tough as we were getting used to it. A lot of people will be like, this is as best as it's ever going to be. And you're like, don't tell me that. No, it's really hard. This is really hard.
In what world does anyone want to hear that ever?
I know.
It's like,
don't throw your experiences at me when everyone's will be different.
Yeah. You're making me feel like I'm doing a bad job because this is challenging.
What am I doing wrong to not make?
But now we've settled into a rhythm. So it's real good. It's real good. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations on that, and best of luck on your new endeavor, my friend. Check out the link in the description for that, and we'll probably put something on the screen too. And dude, always lovely talking to you. Please come back.
Love it. I always
come back.
I will.
Come back. Will you come back right now?
I'll be on every episode.
Oh my God, he's back.
He's back. Oh, also some love to Joe Beretta, who's still dealing with some complex family things, health issues and such. So please share love and maybe some fun memes or cute things to Joe on the social medias, and he'll be back soon as well. And
be sure to send him pictures of Elliot's dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, procure pictures of Elliot's dog on your own accord and send those to Joe.
Yeah. Joe and his daughter came over. We'll end the episode, but Joe and his daughter came over for the Super Bowl. Brock barked at them the entire time.
No.
Cool.
Was he so scared? Is that why?
Yeah, he was very scared.
Poor baby. Did you give him some like Adderall or something, or Ativan?
We actually did get him on Prozac. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Anyway,
listen, sometimes the doggies need it too, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you, Steve.
Goodbye. Live long and prosper. And also, think about that guy that got naked on.
Shut up, Steve.